Hello, welcome to Lunch for the Soul. You know I love having you here. This is a beautiful time for us to be able to connect and for me to introduce you to someone who is going to inspire you, hopefully get you all riled up to maybe do something that you haven't done in a while or just refresh your attitude because she has an amazing one. Let's bring in Mary. Hello, welcome to Lunch for the
Hello.
Soul.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Oh,
excited to be here.
it is an honor to have you here. Not only a very popular and successful author, also a speaker extraordinaire, a mentor to so many people, helping to share your knowledge and everything that you've been through in life. How do you do it all?
The grace of God.
That's a good
Yes.
way to get it done, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what I love that you're doing is you are using your own passion to help other people find theirs and really to find this what you consider to be this world that God has developed for them and they just need to better see it. How are you doing that?
Well, it really was all inspired from my own story and my challenges and what I've overcome. I just wanted to share my victory with other people. You know, when you experiencing something great, you want to help others. You
Mhm.
want them to experience that freedom, that joy, that confidence. And I believe that everybody has a purpose. I believe that we're
Mhm.
born with a purpose. And I meet people all the time who struggle with not knowing. They're like, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. And so if I can inspire them in any way, that's just my heart passion to do. And so, I've started some small groups. I do uh, some teachings online on Facebook, on Zoom, and I help mentor people in their journey. And it brings me so much joy and fulfillment doing
Oh,
so.
I can only imagine. I want to talk about basically how this all came to be. And I think it's so interesting for people to see the progress in your life. So here you are as an adorable little girl, those
Yes.
beautiful eyes, and then grew up obviously playing the
Hmm.
piano and then graduating from U of H. Tell me about
Yes.
this.
Yes. I graduated pharmacy school. I grew up actually. One of my struggles was really trying to find that acceptance and approval from others. I had big dreams. I was just wired differently. I didn't fit the mold. You know, I wanted to be a musician, an artist. And in fact, growing up, I won a national award in art. I met Mayor Brown at the time, and it was very exciting. And so I had all these dreams, but it wasn't something that was accepted in my culture, my family. My parents had immigrated from Egypt, and there was just certain expectations as far as career and
Mhm.
goals in life. And I really had to just push those dreams down, and because I really wanted that acceptance and approval from my parents. And so I chose pharmacy school. That was something that they were happy about. It wasn't necessarily
Mhm.
what I was excited to do. And I just remember, sorry, I just remember having this encounter. I was questioning my life. Here I was about to graduate pharmacy school, and it's supposed to be a really exciting time of my
Mhm.
life,
Mhm.
but I remember questioning my purpose and feeling like I had no voice. I felt um, just felt like I just really was like not doing what I was supposed to be doing on here on earth. And I fell into this depression, and I remember just crying out to God and wanting to end my life. And then
Mhm.
I had this like dramatic encounter with God, and I experienced His love in such a profound way. And I found that He approved me and that my value and worth are found in Him. And I began to understand that I was fearfully and wonderfully made, and that His approval is what matters most. And all these dreams began to surface again. And I began to pursue Him with all my heart. And it changed the entire course of my life from that point on.
That is so powerful, and then also empowering for any of us who are in a similar boat to realize that he has the power to do that in our lives. there was a pivotal point in your life where you really went through a tough time medically. Walk us through the journey and how you found out.
Yeah, at that time, I was really living the life that I loved. I mean, I was married with kids, and I had this home group where I was helping other people. And suddenly I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that really shook my world. I thought that, okay, I'll just, do whatever needs to be done and move on with my life. And because I have a family history of breast cancer, it was recommended that I go through a double mastectomy.
Mhm,
And so I went through that surgery. There were complications that arose from that. I had to have multiple surgeries, and it really affected my body image. It really
mhm,
affected, it was hard for me to even look in the mirror. And I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with, even the young people today. They struggle with body image, and they're wanting to look differently. They are we look to society to define what beauty is. We look to um, you know celebrities. We look to uh, athletes. Some of the guys will look to athletes. That's what we're supposed to look like, or that defines beauty. And I really had to find my confidence within, and I had to look to God to have Him define me, and be rooted and grounded in that, so that those things don't shake me. It doesn't matter what my outer appearance looks like, or it doesn't matter that, okay, I can no longer you know recognize myself. I'm a new person, and I had to just accept these changes.
mhm,
But that's where my confidence really grew, because it's not uh, so much on the outside, but it's within. And that's where we find true joy, true confidence. Our
mhm,
true identity, our worth, and our value is
mhm,
is grounded in God. um, and so I just want to encourage anybody who is struggling with that, to look within, to look to God, because that's where you're going to really find that joy. And really, God uses all those circumstances to help others. He's going to use that pain that you go through,
mhm.
whatever it may be, and turn it into purpose.
Did that faith that you talk about and turning to God through all of this, did that really give you strength to say, I'm going to make it through this? Because that's a huge surgery that's absolutely life changing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, through prayer, through faith, through standing on His word, and believing who He says I am. And again, a lot of the battlefield is in our mind. It's what we think people would think of us, or what society says, or what that we really have to be rooted and grounded in what God says.
Mhm,
And you know we won't be shaken if we're grounded in the word of God. And
mhm,
so I really dug deep in scriptures, and would meditate on them until I believed them. I think a lot of times we allow those difficult circumstances to question who we are, question our identity. Sometimes we even question, God, where were you? The truth is He's always there. And unfortunately, we live in a fallen world. We live in a world where bad things happen. But the good news is that He uses those bad things, those circumstances, He turns them around for good. He turns them around for good. So He
mhm,
uses our stories, our testimonies, to help others,
mhm.
to impact others, to bring encouragement, to bring inspiration, to bring light and hope into the world.
I want to ask you more, and certainly getting a little more personal here,
Hmm.
because we talked about the toughness of your treatment, of your
Hmm.
surgery, but then you had some complications, which made it even more difficult. How did
Yeah.
you keep that faith and work through that? Because this is tough when everything goes exactly as planned. And we know that in life, very few things go as planned, right? So, how did you deal with that and what happened?
Well, I really had to learn to trust even more, to learn to trust God. and we can read throughout scriptures where many people in the Bible were given a promise and the opposite happened. The opposite, the very opposite. And that's what tests our faith. Um, and sometimes things get worse before they actually get better. And that's really what I experienced. I mean, the situation kept getting worse and worse, and I was like, but Lord, you said this, you said this, and I stood on his word. And when our faith grows and in the right timing, God will deliver his promises. And I think that's, we have to be tested in our faith.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like going to the gym. Those muscles don't come automatically.
Mm-hmm.
We got to work them out. And that's where our faith grows and stretches, and where we our spirit
Mm-hmm.
becomes bigger than our emotions or what we feel or what we think. And that's where we have to live by faith. God is pleased when we live by faith and not by sight.
Mm-hmm. And I love seeing that lion. It's sort of cut out of the picture now, but behind you, the huge lion on your wall. It just reminds me of mention in the Bible of be strong and courageous like a
Mhm.
lion, which it sounds exactly what you're doing. How did you decide to use what you've learned to go on and to encourage others and to share your knowledge and to share that power of knowledge with others?
Well, again, when you experience a good thing, you want to share it with others. You want others to experience that freedom, that joy, that confidence. You want to see them living out their God given
Mhm.
purpose. And I really just opened up my home, and to my surprise, people came, and I began to share with others and help others in that way. And then I thought, wow, this is the things that I've experienced, other people are experiencing. They're feeling like they don't have purpose. They're dealing with fear, anxiety. They're dealing with,
Mhm.
insecurity and not knowing what they're called to do or what
Mhm.
their life purpose is. And um, if I could help people in my home, then I thought, well, I could help people online too. I took it online and I developed some courses. I have a group mentorship, and um, it's kind of like when you share what God has given you, it continues to grow and grow. And for me, that brings such joy and fulfillment. If I can help others, then I'm living out my life purpose. And I
Mhm.
believe everybody has a story, a testimony, or maybe you're called to do something. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business, but um, you just don't, you're not sure of yourself, or you just felt like, oh, maybe it's too late, or
Mhm.
um, there's always something that God has given you, whether it's a business, a story, a book to write, or maybe you're called to impact your community. That that will bring fulfillment to you as you step out and share those talents, share what God has given you.
Mhm.
And I meet people and they say, well, I don't really know what my talents are, or I don't really have them. As you get to know God and as you draw near to Him, those talents will, you'll begin to discover what they are. And sometimes what we do is we're afraid to share them. And
Mhm.
it's like the parable of the talents. If you hide it, well, God will take that away, but the one who shares it, more will be given.
Mhm.
And so, a lot of times I find that it's fear or insecurity stopping people from really stepping out and doing what God has called them to do.
Yeah, it is very true. And I love that you reignited your passions. You love to write music.
Mhm.
How do you share that knowledge with people to do what you love and explain what it makes it feel like to you when you're talking to people, you're working on your music, you're
Mhm.
you're you're sharing the word of what's so important to you. What is that like for you?
Well, that brings me fulfillment and joy. I want to see people living the life they were meant to live. And again, I believe that everybody has a purpose.
Mhm.
Everybody has something to share that would make a difference in other
Mhm.
people's lives.
Mhm.
And so if I can help them do that, that brings me much joy and fulfillment. Um, and it brings glory to God,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's really the whole point. We're supposed to glorify Him, and we are destined to shine.
Hmm.
And as we share those things, we're shining His glory. We're shining the light of God. We're shining with hope. We're shining with love and purpose. And so we're not we're not supposed to keep those things hidden,
Hmm.
but we're supposed to step out and be that encouragement to others.
Well, from what I see, you're certainly shining with a lot of talent. I mean, we take a look here at a painting. Look at this. That's
Yes, that was.
incredible. Is that a Baylor bear?
I don't know what kind of bear it is, but it's a bear that I painted.
Oh, it's
But yeah,
beautiful.
I started doing those things that I dreamed of again. I
Yeah.
started painting again. I
And you
started,
started running. Look at you here,
yes, there
medaling.
I
What's
am.
what's going on with this one?
Yeah, that was the Houston marathon that they do yearly in
Uh-huh.
downtown. Um, I love running and being fit, and
Uh-huh.
that
Hanging
was
out with your family and your dog.
yes,
So here's your
yes,
beautiful family
yes, very supportive.
and all your babies and your fur babies.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I love all this. How much does it mean to you just to be able to spend time with your family?
Oh, I love it. And one thing I love is seeing them, even just following their dreams.
Mhm.
I believe that we're called to leave a legacy, um, not only to the people around us, but mostly to our family.
Mhm.
Those things that we have the courage to face and do, and when we live authentically, they'll do the same. They'll follow in our footsteps. It's not, think of it. It's not just, this is not for you. This is for your family and those that you love and your community, and so that they
Mhm.
can do what they're called to do. They can make an
Mhm.
impact.
Mhm. I want to talk about, I think that we all, at least almost everybody I know, we have this thing of limiting our beliefs, limiting what we
Mhm.
think we can do with our lives. How
Yeah.
do you help as you mentor people work through emotions like that to get to the other side and not to limit
Yeah.
themselves?
Yeah, I think, a lot of us deal with limiting beliefs. They can
Mhm.
come from things that people have said to us that we've internalized, or even just what the society
Mhm.
considers the norm. And uh, those are things that we need to overcome. And again, it's in the mind. It's in the mind. We got to overcome what's in the mind. With God, all things are possible. And one of the biggest the limiting belief that I hear people say, well, my time has passed, or it's too late. No, it's not. No, it's not. It, all things are possible with God. And again, we can rely on scriptures and read stories
Mhm.
of many times where God came through beyond the time that was possible. I mean, we look at Abraham and Sarah, who had a baby, um, beyond their childbearing
Yeah.
years. Um, Modern day example is maybe we can look at Colonel Sanders. He didn't start his business, Kentucky Fried Chicken, until he was well into his 70s.
Yeah.
How many people would start a business in their 70s?
Right.
And look how, I mean, he's left a legacy. I mean, it's still
Yes.
going on.
Yeah. And
um,
will for quite some time. That's a
yes, and
perfect
will be.
point.
Yeah, and so if we can overcome those limitations, those are things that they're thoughts
Mhm.
that limit us from living our full potential,
Mhm.
and believe that with God, all things are possible.
Mhm.
His promises will come to pass. Because once we think, okay, it's too late, we close the door on that,
Mhm.
sometimes we're our worst enemies. So
Yeah.
I think we just need to really uh, apply that faith and believe and step out, have that courage, live authentically.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that God is calling you to do. A lot of times I find that the dreams that we're given, they're in us even as a child,
Yeah.
but they get shut down because of circumstances that we go through, things that people have said, opinions of others, and we start comparing. We want to blend in, but God has created us to stand out. If you want to make a difference, you got to stand out, and it's not
Mhm,
always easy. It's not
mhm.
always easy to be different.
No,
You
it's
know,
not.
we want to be accepted, we want to be loved, and so you're going to have to face, you will face, I'm going to be honest, you will face rejection, you will face opposition, you will face people trying to shut you down. But who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe what God said, or are you going to succumb to what others are saying? And that's something I had to really fight. That was a big struggle in my life, you know, people pleasing, finding approval in others. But we when we find our approval in God, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And it's a journey you have to take. Sometimes it's not an easy one, but it's a very rewarding and fulfilling
Mhm,
one. One that brings joy. It brings impact. It makes a difference in this world. And you don't want to live your life. You know, we see all these videos and read all these stories about people who lived their life and had regrets. Oh, I wish I would have done that. I was supposed to do this, but I never had the courage to do it. Or and you don't want to live your life with regrets. You want to live your life to the fullest. And God has amazing plans for each and every one of us. It's an adventure with Him. It brings so much fulfillment and joy. Um, I believe that a lot of people experience depression and just are unhappy in life because they're not living the life they're supposed to be living. You know, they've chosen to take the route that maybe, oh well, or they've chosen to believe lies that perhaps they're not qualified, or they're not good
mhm.
enough, or they're not, or it's too late. But I'm here to tell you that it's not too late, and God is the one that qualifies you, and He has amazing plans for your life.
Well, and you have amazing plans for people through your book. So I want to talk about Destined to Shine.
Yeah.
This is a powerful way that people can even learn more from you. And you have
Mhm.
a book signing coming up. So we need to make sure that
Yeah.
everybody knows about that. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, we have a book signing at Barnes and Noble in First Colony, Sugarland. I'd love to see you out there. I will be personally signing books, and we have some amazing giveaways, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'd love to meet you in person. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to inspire you in any way I could. Come out, and would love to see you there.
All right. And we're taking a look now at Destined to Shine.
Yes.
Anything else you can give us a little sneak peek of what they might learn from it that we didn't get a chance to talk to you about it today, but you can just tease it because we got to get them wanting to buy this book.
Yeah. Well, I just really believe that you have an amazing destiny. And in order to fulfill that
Mhm.
destiny, the first step is knowing your true identity in God. And I believe this book will inspire you. And my hope is that it would transform you in a way that you would step out, take action,
Mhm.
and begin to live that life that God created for you.
Oh, beautifully stated. Mary, I'm so happy that you were here, took time to be with us on Lunch for the Soul. I want to encourage everyone to go out and meet you Saturday, July 20th. It's going to be the place to be in the land of sugar, aka Sugarland. I hope you get a huge crowd and are really able to touch so many lives with that. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Melissa. I enjoyed being here today.
All right, so good to see you, and so good to have all of you here with us today. I hope you'll join us every single Wednesday and Saturday now. We added a day for Lunch for the Soul at 11:30. It's always the place to be. If you happen to have joined us late, or maybe you want to watch this again, or whatever you want, if you want to see past episodes of Lunch for the Soul, you can do it in many ways. You can go to our website, our YouTube page, you can go to our Fox Local app, You name it, we've got you covered in Lunch for the Soul to bless you. That's my hope and my joy, to be able to bless you and hopefully make your day. Thank you for being here. I hope to catch you back here next time. If you have any ideas, you know you can reach out to me. I'd love to cover it for you. See you next time.